Happy, what's today? Whatever day it is, hello. Hello. I hope your day, your week is going well. It's hump day. We are halfway through the week. And if you are like me, you may have had a very busy week. And that's okay. That is okay. Sometimes it's like that. Um, I wanted to talk today about 3 ways to know whether or not you are healthy enough to be in a relationship. My name is Rachel Hunter. I am the owner of RDH Counseling and Consulting, where we help you become your healthiest self. Hey, Renaya, happy Wednesday. I am checking in with y'all. Half of the week, it's hump day. And this week, I have been working with a lot of my clients that I coach and working with individuals in regards to relationships. And there is an ongoing theme that I've seen throughout the years as I have been working with couples and with individuals. It's sometimes we're in relationships and we're not healthy enough to be in them. So I wanted to talk about that briefly. And when you're thinking about being in relationships, sometimes we don't know that we're not healthy enough to be in these relationships. We think, I am here. I'm excited. And then we figure out towards the end that, this isn't working and I don't know why it's not working. And a lot of times you will find that you're in serial relationships, back to back to back relationships, and none of them are satisfactory. None of them feel good. None of them really are healthy. And a lot of times you're not recognizing that you're the common denominator, right? So I wanted to just take a few minutes just to kind of talk about it, answer any questions that you all might have. But the first way that you can recognize whether or not you are healthy enough to be in a relationship is how you feel about you. I know that sounds like crazy, like what you mean, but how you feel about you. Do you love you? Now, of course, we're gonna all be like, yeah, who don't love me, right? But if you're thinking about it from the perspective of how you are treating yourself, right? Because a lot of times we say and we believe that we love ourselves, but it's not until you start going deeper and you start looking at how you're actually treating yourself that you'll kind of recognize that maybe you don't love you as much as you think you do, or maybe you don't value you as much as you think you do. So, one of the ways to recognize whether or not you actually do love you is take a second. And I want you, if you're in a relationship, I want you to kind of think about what has this relationship been like for you? What kind of treatment have you experienced? Right? So, what's going on in your relationship? How is it going? Um, Are there things that are happening in the relationship that are unsat, as the military people say, this is unsat? Are there behaviors? Are there things going on in the relationships that you are allowing that is not healthy? Okay, so think about the treatment that you're receiving. There are times where individuals are saying that they're going to do one thing and not doing it, not following through, right? Whether it's cheating, right? Whether it's your partner being inappropriate, whether your partner is being abusive in some way, shape, or form, right? What is happening in your relationship that you are unhappy with, and yet you're continuing to allow it to happen? That's an indicator of how you see yourself, right? Because when we value, love, and appreciate ourselves, there's not a whole lot of disrespect or a whole lot of mistreatment that you are going to Be comfortable with receiving because you love you. So that's number one. I want you to kind of think about, how do I feel about me? How do am I taking care of me? Do I love me? Am I treating me the way that I should be treated? Am I accepting substandard, subpar behavior, actions in the relationship that I'm currently in? The other thing you can do too is kind of take a look at your last 2 to 3 relationships, right? So kind of look and let's see if there's an ongoing theme. When you're in relationships, how do people treat you? That's a big indicator of how you feel about you, because what you allow, you following? What you allow says how you see you, how you value you. So that's number one. It's how do you feel about you? If you are not loving you, then you're not going to be able to receive love from someone else. And so you may not be healthy enough to be in a relationship just yet, right? You may need to do some work, do some of that healing work, go to therapy, have someone to help support you as you're trying to heal. And then when you get you squared away, then you can connect with someone else. And what will happen is, as you heal and you're healthy, that's going to be who you attract. Oftentimes, we attract the same level of dysfunction. It don't have to be the same type, but you attract the same level of dysfunction. So it's going to be really important for you to kind of start looking in the mirror and assessing, have I been dating the same guys over and over, like the same type of guy? Am I constantly hearing myself say, I keep ending up with these men who are just dogs, or just, whatever it is? That's an indicator that, okay, I need to start looking at me. So that's number one. Number two, another way to recognize whether or not you are healthy enough to be in a relationship is, when conflict comes, what do you do? Do you run? Do you avoid? Are you passive aggressive? And what we mean by passive aggressive is, we're not direct. So let's say a situation happens, instead of me verbalizing and saying, hey, when this happened, I felt hurt, I felt frustrated, I felt let down by this, and I would like to see this not happen again, right? So instead of us doing that, we get an attitude, right? We don't talk, we avoid, we kind of shut down, and your partner's like, "What? What's wrong?" And what's our favorite answer, ladies? Nothing. Whole time you're angry, you're mad because of something that happened, yet either you're not comfortable enough expressing yourself, and if you're not comfortable enough expressing yourself and handling or having hard or challenging conversations, you want to ask yourself why. Why do I run when it's time to have challenging conversations? Why do I avoid letting my partner know that I need this, or I did not like that, or that made me feel, and expressing that, right? Some of the reasons as to why that happens is, one, we feel like our voice doesn't matter. So you may be struggling with what we call a harmful core belief. You may be believing that your voice doesn't matter, your opinion doesn't matter. You may be afraid, you may be telling yourself or believing that um this person, that I don't have what it takes to handle a conversation. um or you may even be saying to yourself or believing that I'm not going to be able to handle the consequences of expressing myself. Because sometimes we jump all the way to the end of the conversation before we even have it. And so we are saying to ourselves, well, if I say this to him, he's going to be like, oh, you're blowing things out of proportion. It's not that serious. Or we might be afraid of the reaction, the response that the person is going to give, right? Whether they're going to I don't know, shut down and not want to hear what we have to say. So sometimes those are some of the reasons why you're not having these conversations, or you are going along to get along and you are avoiding conflict. Um, and that is a major thing to recognize, that if this is what you're doing, if you are afraid of having conversations, if you are afraid to tell your partner, I don't like that. Or I would like this. I would like us to spend more time. Or I don't like when you're out all types of the night with your friends. I want us to spend more time, or I need more quality time. And if you're afraid to do that, to advocate for yourself or express your needs or share your feelings, you might not be healthy enough to be in a relationship. So that's something you want to think about, right? Because what we're talking about is there is a part of you that doesn't feel strong enough or confident enough to express yourself. And so that's a part that you want to work on. That's an area that you want to come out of agreement with the lie, whatever that lie is, that you are believing or have been believing for so long it's become truth to you. We want to come out of agreement with that, and we want to really start recognizing the truth, which is your voice, your opinion matters. And anybody who is not willing or wanting to hear your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions, that might not be that ain't who we need to be with. That is not a healthy individual. And that's certainly not anyone that you have to choose to give your energy, your time to. So that's number two. That's the second way that you can kind of recognize whether or not you're healthy enough to be in a relationship. Third one, are you emotionally available? And I know you might be saying, what in the world does that even mean, emotionally available? So, when we're talking about being emotionally available, we're talking about an individual who is healthy enough, secure enough to connect with another individual, meaning you are secure enough to say, I hurt. You are healthy enough to receive your partner's expressions and feelings, right? So your partner may say to you, "Hey, this really hurt my feelings," or "Man, I just need you to hold me. I just need you to support me and be here for me." And being able to do that. There are individuals who have been so hurt in previous relationships that they've made inner vows and they've said things like, I'm never going to let myself get hurt again. I'm never going to give my heart, fully give my heart to another individual. I'm never going to let my guard down, or, nah, they're not going to get that part of me again. Well, if you're there, you're not fully available. You still have a wall up. And while we can understand having a wall up, right, because it does provide protection for you, keeps you from getting hurt, but it also stops your partner from being able to connect with you and vice versa. Versa. You heard what I said. And so when you are thinking about whether or not you are healthy enough to be in a relationship, if you are still there, meaning if you're still trying to protect yourself from being hurt, then you're not available to be in a relationship. You're not healthy enough to be in a relationship. Because in order for a relationship to be healthy, to be whole, both individuals have got to be so secure that they are willing to open themselves up, right? So that's where the vulnerability and intimacy comes in. You cannot have or experience emotional intimacy with your partner if you or your partner have walls up. Like, it just ain't gonna happen. So if you are still afraid of being hurt, and so you're kind of like, you might not be ready for a relationship, because that means that there is still a wall that you have up. And when that wall is up, that wall prevents you from fully giving you to your partner. And that's not fair to your partner, right? Because if your partner is fully vested and they have their guard down and they're willing to open up to you and share themselves and are looking for that in return, and you got your wall up because you're afraid, you're not available, and it's not fair for your partner. It's also not fair for you to put yourself in that situation because your partner is going to be expecting from you what you're not able to give. I read in scripture the other day where Saul and Jonathan connected, right? They met, and Jonathan felt a strong connection. And in that moment, what he did was he took his everything that he could have used to protect himself. He said no. He gave it away. Right? He gave it to David. And so when we're thinking about being in relationships, in a healthy relationship, we're talking about being healthy enough and emotionally available and unafraid to connect with your partner on a deeper level. So that means being able to fully expose everything that a person could use, that your partner could use to hurt you, still being willing to give them access to that. So your hurts, your wounds, what you like, what you don't like, your dreams, your disappointments, being willing to provide that to your partner, meaning you're opening your heart to your partner to allow them to know you, to see you, to connect with you, the good, the bad, the ugly. But if you are afraid because you've been hurt in the past and you have decided that, no, I'm not going to be emotionally available, I'm going to keep this wall up, then you are not ready to be in a relationship. And it's when you are ready, right? When you're saying, hey, I want to connect with someone, and you still recognize that you're afraid or you're still sabotaging things, that's an indicator that, okay, I need to go and get some help. I need to get some therapy. And so being responsible enough to recognize that and do what it takes is important. So, not getting into relationships when you know that you're not emotionally available because you're still holding on to the hurt, the past, the pain. Um, if you are unable to handle conflicts and you find that you avoid conflicts, you don't express your needs in relationships, you go along to get along, you're like a doormat because you don't want to hurt someone else's feelings, or you believe you're responsible for someone else's feelings. You're not responsible. That's not your responsibility, right? Or if you are not yet in love with you, meaning you love you, you care about you, you take care of you. If you don't have those three things, then you may not be ready to be in a relationship. And so I want you to start thinking about that, right? When it comes to relationships, when it comes to you, taking care of you, making sure that you are in a good and in a healthy space. One of the things y'all hear me talk about, I'm the self-care queen. I talk to us about taking care of you, looking at the relationship that you have with you. Okay. You're in relationship with you first, and being able to take care of your emotional needs, your mental health needs, your physical needs, spiritual, sexual needs, like looking at where you are and what you need and making sure that you give it to you is going to be key. You got to do that first before you try to get into a relationship with someone else. And so if you need support, if you need help with starting to engage in self-care, right? Taking care of you, building the relationship that you have with you, connect with us. We will be starting our self-care healthy coping group for our ladies. And that's going to be starting on next Monday, the 21st at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like to connect with us, if you want to join that group, all you got to do is send us an email with your contact information. There's still time. We still have some slots available. It is a therapeutic group, and so your insurance will pay for it. We also do have individuals that pay out of pocket for it, so that's not a problem either. But if you want to connect with us, we still have time. You can still do so. Send us an email at info@rdhcounseling.com. Send us an email with your name, telephone number. We will reach out to you and we will get you connected. Okay. I will be going live this coming Friday. And I haven't been live in a while. We haven't done a Relationship Friday in a while. So we will be doing one this Friday, which is the 18th. And we are talking about infidelity in relationships, specifically marriage, infidelity in marriage, how it impacts us, whether or not you should stay, things to consider if you do decide to stay, because it's not easy. It's a painful thing. It's a painful thing. And yet sometimes you are on the fence about, should I go? Should I stay? And so we're going to talk about all of that. Should you stay? Should you go? What to consider? If you do decide to stay, what reconciliation should entail, the things that have to be in there for this thing to work. So join us, share this, like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, hit the bell so you get notified when we go live, when we have videos, and make sure that you are following us on all of the platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, or where are we? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and some more places. But it has been a pleasure, a pleasure. If you have questions, feel free to message us. I am a teacher by heart, by nature, and I'm always here to support, to provide encouragement, but also to provide you with information that you need as you are looking to become your healthiest self. We're going to also be starting our spirituality as healthy coping. So if you're interested in connecting with that, with us, send us an email. Just let us know that, and with your contact information, and we will get you connected. But you all have a great evening. Be blessed. I'll see you Friday at 7 p.m. Y'all take care.